Hi and welcome to Online Appliance Tech. Today I have a special video. We're going old school. That's right, old school is better. The older equipment was made way better than the new stuff. As you can tell, the new stuff doesn't last as long as the old stuff. So if you can find a washer like this, or you have one and thinking about getting rid of it, I wouldn't recommend that. In this video I'm going to show you how to completely rebuild these machines so you can keep them another additional 20 years. Let's get started. So right here I have a older model washer. The client called me out and said it was making a grinding noise and wasn't washing that well. It turned out to be the transmission and the dry basket, the shaft I would say, was grinding the inner housing. So we have the clutch here, the pump, this is a spanner wrench, and this is the transmission and the dry basket. So on these models here you have two screws in the back. It's a Phillips. Obviously unplug it before you get started. So you have one here that you'll turn counterclockwise to remove, and there's one on the left. On the other models I will leave right here how to take these off. There's little clips and you can just pop them off, and there's a screw in the front of it. But back to this one, just remove these two screws. If yours look like this, screws in the back. If not, you have the other model. So remove these two screws, and then you'll pull the display forward and upwards. So right here you'll have your two clips and a door switch. So a long time ago when I first started, I actually cut my hand trying to remove this. Found out this to use a flathead and press in and pry out. Real simple. Remove the door switch. And once you get this guy removed, we'll move the front housing to get inside the washer. Put everything safe. Okay, so open the lid, underhook it with your hand, put your front foot in front of it, and slide it straight forward, and it will come off the bottom housing, which clips in to the bottom housing, and it kind of just slides in at underneath the black part of the housing. So this is the agitator. We'll just pop this off. We're going to remove the agitator, remove this cover. You can take a needle nose or something like that. And I believe this is a 3/8. I just took a wrench, and then you're going to remove the bolt which holds the agitator in there counterclockwise. When you do remove this bolt, you will have to hold the bottom of the agitator to get a little tension to remove the bolt. As you can see here, I'm holding it and I turn counterclockwise until I loosen it up. Once I loosen this up, then I can just do the rest of my hand, and the agitator will just pull right out. Okay, great. So we'll remove this. Sometimes if your agitator does not, just lift this up. Sometimes it'll come together. But back what I was saying, sometimes if your agitator does not agitate, you can put they're called dogs, but they're little teeth that strip from the inside of the agitator. But here you'll remove these two little clips. I do not know the names for these, but I do know they're supposed to go back on there. So just remove these. And then you'll remove the top cover. This is clipped on. So you'll just remove all the clips one by one. Here in a moment we'll remove the inside tub, and it's a good time to kind of clean all this up before you put it back in. Sometimes these washers, they'll have a smell, and the only way you can really clean it is just take the tub out, and we'll show you how to do that soon. This is called the spanner wrench. You will need this. I will try to find this, leave you a link in the description below if you don't have one. But you'll just line it up with the washer, and then you'll just hit it counterclockwise, go sideways, so you don't hit your tub like I just did, and just kind of tap it until it loosens up, and then you can do the rest of your hand. So usually when you do this, the tub comes straight out, but sometimes you get those that are just locked in there, and it's not going to happen that easy. Like right now, the tub should come out, kind of go left and right with it, but this one's not budging. It's like, I would say 1 out of 50 you'll come across ones like this, but there's a way to get it out. If you come across this problem, I'll show you how to get it out. If not, you just should be able to pull the tub right out. So just depends on which one you have. So this is the drain pump. You'll take a flathead, just remove these both clamps to remove the drain pump, and then you'll just pull the pump off the shaft of the motor. These are two little clamps that connect into the motor that clamps the drain pump down. So hopefully this is a good enough angle so you can see exactly how this works. As you can see here inside the motor, and I have seen worse motors, they'll have like lint and dust or whatever debris in there. Definitely brush that out before you install it. That will lock up the motor eventually. Remove the harness from the motor. You just press this in or pull the clamp forward and wiggle it back and forth. Don't yank on the wire, just the harness itself, because you can yank the wiring out the harness. And then right here you have 2/4, or sometimes it'll be even 5/16 screws that you'll have to remove, and then you'll use the flathead to remove the clamps from the motor. You're going to remove the bottom always first, not the top, because if you do the top first, the motor will fall on you. So put the bottom first in, and just turn like you're turning a key, and it'll clip off, and vice versa. You're going to hold the motor now underneath, and you will do the top one. So the motor is a little heavy, not too heavy, so just be careful. Have two hands on it and just pull it straight out. And then out here, see, this is the coupling which turns or connects into the motor coupling and the transmission, turns the whole machine. So if you ever have a machine that makes like a grinding noise when you start it, goes like grrr, or just a ugly grinding noise, I would say. Most of the time it is this motor coupling. We'll show you how to replace this here soon. Just remove these two clamps and then disconnect this from the transmission. This is a little clip on. You'll just press it together and press down, put it out of the way where you want her to harness. And now we're going to remove this backwards on its back. I'm going to use my little bucket here. You can use like a box, but something safe to put it on its back. Usually you would have the tub already removed, but this tub did not want to come out, and you may come across this. Hopefully yours just comes out like it's supposed to though, but sometimes you do run into the ones that are kind of stuck. So right here you have the two bolts. You will have to remove this. This is the support for the motor and drain pump, and this will have to go into the new transmission. I believe this is a 1/2. So you'll just use a wrench, adjustable wrench, and then if you can't do it by hand, as you can see, I cannot do it by hand. You can tap it with a hammer or some type of sort of hammer just to loosen up the bolt. After you loosen up the bolt, just do the rest with your hand, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, once removed, just pull it straight off. It comes easily off after that. And then here you're going to have the 1/2 size bolt. So same thing, counterclockwise. What I like to do personally, I like to kind of loosen them off up first, and then remove the rest with my hand with just the bolt itself, or the tool itself. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to remove the two. I'm going to leave one in, and then before I release the last bolt, obviously I'll hold my hand up under the transmission to catch it. This one's kind of stuck because it's kind of jammed in there, but usually they just slide right out. You can see there it's just holding itself into place. So even now, me trying to pull this out is not budging. So, and I guess that's because of the drive basket. I'll show you how to install it soon. Is rubbing the inner side of the shaft itself. So even here, I'm trying to use a hammer to press it down. It's not budging. So then I'm going to use a 2x4 to give me more of a solid level. So as you can see here, it's going down now, but still quite a bit of a pain. So hopefully you don't have to deal with this. Like I said, usually the drum comes straight out and the transmission slides straight out. So right here is still in there, and I still have a little trouble. So then I hit this transmission down with my hammer on the side to kind of help it out a little bit, but it should just slide down like this. There, like that. So if your machine's not pressed back enough to slide the transmission out, just put it more on its back. But there's the transmission, and we have the clutch on top. We'll show you this. So this is the drive basket. This is what the clutches hit. I'll show you how that works later. This is called like a little, I don't even know what it's called, a hub, I guess you would call it. Connects into the drum and transmission. It'll just probably stay stuck in there. So now the drum should pull straight out. So once you get the drum out, this is a good time to clean it. Some are worse than others. This one's not that bad. I will clean it throughout the video. So to remove this drive basket, you'll just twist it left and slide it straight down. So right here you can see this is I'll show you the grooves inside this guy where it was rubbing the inner shaft of the drum. So it all has these lines, and this is a grinding noise that we were hearing. So this is definitely why we're placing this too. These will get sticky. This will cause your drum to lock up at the end of the spin cycle. I'll show you how to lubricate that later. See all this in here? This is all goo and stuff, and this will also cause the brakes to lock up very fast at the end, so it'll spin, and then when it stops spinning, it'll shake the machine to its left, and it's because of this. So I like to use Slide Glide to clean the inner brake liner, I guess you would call it, up. That way when we put the new one in there, it'll be nice and smooth. So I just put this in there. You can see my fingers black. So, and take a shop rag, one that you don't love, that you can throw away obviously when you're done. But see, look at all this gunk. So this is what's going to lock up, make those brakes lock up at the end and not have a smooth slide, a smooth glide, I guess you would say. So now you can clean this inner part up too. If you have any type of oil or grease, just put it in there real gentle and remove and clean any type of debris. So as you can see, everything's nice and clean now, so we can move towards the next part. So here's the dry basket and the part number. So let's check this out real quick. There we go. So this one has no grooves or nothing crazy, so this is what it should look like. And this is the inner clutch kit. It comes with this, so say if you didn't buy a new clutch, you can put this inside the original housing of the old clutch, but I just always replace the clutch. So just slide this drive shaft up into the basket, and then you'll actually turn it, this little lever here, and it'll press the spring together, and as you press it up. So I'll hold it and I twist and press up as I twist, and it'll slide right into place like that. So here I'm going to put just a little bit of slide glide right here in front of the spring. Then I'm going to twist it to even it out. You don't want to put too much in there. I've seen people put grease, which is a no-no, because then it'll drip into the clutch and it'll mess your clutch up. So just very little, and that's all you need. With very definitely, if you clean the inside, if you don't take the whole thing out, you can just put a little there to loosen it up. So this is the gear case, or you can call it transmission. When you install these transmission, you do have to remove the little, that has like a little, I don't know if you want to call it paint or what, that covers a little hole. You will have to remove that to give it, I guess you would call it a breathing hole. So once you remove the cover, or the plastic cover, you'll remove this clip. You'll take a flathead. Let me show you. So this little clip will have to be removed because it'll go onto the on top of the clutch. So you can just kind of put your flathead in between and pry outwards, and then you can use the housing of the transmission for a little leverage once you get it off enough, like that. Definitely don't jam it inside the gear case itself though, just like the way I did it. So right here is the clutch assembly. This is a new clutch. It comes with the housing and the clutch. So I'm just going to put a new one on here. If you're having a problem with the washing machine where your clothes are damp after the spin cycle, more likely it's your clutch on these machines, because if they get worn down over time, they will not be strong enough to press the drive basket to spin your clothes out. Later on in the video, I'll explain more. So on this clutch, you'll put the little plastic piece under it here. This is like a, I guess it just keeps the metal to metal, keeps it from hitting each other. But you'll put that in, make sure it's nice and flush, and then you'll slide it right over the transmission. So here how it works. The drive shaft hits this, and see how it doesn't budge? That's how it's supposed to be. So let me see if I can explain this. When it spins, the clutch will, let me see, get a flashlight. So see, it'll hit the drive basket like that, and that's what spins the whole tub. So if your clothes are coming out wet, that means that inner clutch is just slipping. But obviously this is a new clutch, so it should be just fine. So that's why we would not put grease, a lot of grease up there to lube up the brakes either. So you'll evenly slide this together. It has grooves that can only go one way. That's a warning label about the little hole you have to remove. So we'll have to remove that. So this is a little pin that will hold the clutch down to the transmission. So it has a little hole that you have to press it in to the clutch, and then it wraps into the transmission, and then you'll hold your finger to hold the where it clips into the clutch, and then you'll press down to try to press it in. If you don't press the clutch down good enough, it'll actually just pop off, and actually it happens to me. So it kind of, you'll see it'll just pop right off. Bing. See, it popped off, so that means I have to redo it. So I'll press that in more, and now it goes on easy. So I'll put it into the little hole of the clutch, and then I'll just work my way around it as I hold the little clip in. Looks like I have to adjust it down just a little bit more. Try this again. Put it in the little hole of the clutch, hold it down with my finger, and then start working my way around as I press it in. There we go. Now we're in business. Last clip. Great. So you can see how it works is it's clipped in. And then this is the part that we took off at the beginning. We'll just slide that into the groove, press it all the way in. And we'll take this top cover, clean it. This is what we took off the old transmission. We'll have to put this back on the new one. And that's it. And this is a hole that we do have to remove. Sometimes they come off easy and sometimes you have to work a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm not for sure if I got the hole clear, so I'm just going to take the pin off my multimeter to try to clear up because it's very tiny hole. Just want to make sure it's nice and clear. If not, you can use a paper clip too. But there it is right there if you can see it. It has to be opened. So now we're going to slide the transmission inside the drive basket. So definitely have a bolt in your tool ready, because once you slide this in, and let me see, so when you slide this in too, you want to make sure the spring is not going to hit this. So you keep this one on the right, one on the left, that way you can slide it up with no problem. But like I was stating, you want to have a bolt ready so you can go ahead and tighten one side up with your finger. That way you can let go of the transmission to easily install the rest of the bolts. So I would just hand tighten them all first and then just use your tool. Okay, great. So that's it. That's the last one. They're all tight and snug. You definitely don't want to loose bolts. So let me show you exactly how it looks like underneath with a better camera view. So there's the 1, the 2, and the 3. So this is a drain pump assembly. Usually you'll have a small leak at the front of the washer, and usually it's a drain pump. I replaced this one just because the older one was on its way out. You can see it's actually starting to leak from the inside where the shaft goes. But what I use here is a pair of vice grips. That way I can just clamp it down and let go and easily move it back and forth. So I removed this one hose first. It shouldn't have no water come out because I drained the machine beforehand, and any excess water, the tub is tilted backwards, so it shouldn't come out. And then I'll just slide it on the new one, press all the way down, use my vice grips, and just slide it back into place. Same thing, I'm going to remove the other clamp, slide it backwards, and then remove the pump. And then I'll replace it on the new pump. So now we're going to install the motor support with that we took off the old transmission. That looks even. Okay, great. So line this up. It can only go one way, so make sure the top is pointing towards the upper right hand side before you install it, or you have to do it again because it'll be upside down. So just hand tighten them first, and then you'll take your socket wrench and snug them into the transmission. So this is the motor coupling kit assembly. These are very common. So say if your washer is not agitating, spinning, but just the water drains out, this will more than likely be your motor coupling assembly. The transmission already has a coupling in there, so I'll just leave that one. No reason to beat on the transmission for no reason. And then we'll have to replace this on the motor. So you'll just remove the old one. As you can see, this one is so loose it just comes right off, and that will not good. So I believe it's a 3/8. You'll line it up with the coupling. So when you put these on the motor, you don't want to just beat at an angle or hit it super hard either. So you'll line it up, and you'll take your 3/8 socket and put it on something gentle like this mat. It's very gentle, and keep the pressure off the harness. See, the harness is on the upright, not hitting the ground, because you could break it and your harness won't come into play. So see here, I just tap it until I line it up flush with the shaft of the motor. See, nice and easy. Some people use like a flathead. It'll hit one side, hit the other side, and before you know it's crooked. So here, 3/8, tap it on until it's flush. That's it. So here you're going to have to line the motor coupling up with the coupling on the transmission, and definitely remove any type of excess dust or lint. I take a brush of this one. I don't put it in the video, but I clean it well on the sides and so forth, because that's what will cause the motor to overheat and lock up eventually. Okay, so I see that one straight up, so I'll try to line this one straight up. And any type of rubber gaskets, I'll make sure they're on the motor so it just slides in easily. So I'll remove this one, put it on the motor, and that way everything should just slide right in together. Okay, so we'll pause it right here. So you can see the motor coupling, and you see the 3 holes on the rubber coupling that's connected to the transmission. These will have to be evenly aligned to press the motor in. Another tip to make life easier, have one of the long clamps ready beside you once you get everything in. This clamp will hold the motor into place, always the top first, because you want to have something to hold this motor in. If you put the bottom first, it will not hold the motor. It will just fall and knock the clamp out. So let me try to give you some better lighting so you can see what's going on. So you put it in, then you'll turn it to the right, and then you'll press up by the shaft of the motor and press down and lock it in. So now you can let go of everything and the motor will go nowhere. Then you'll place the bottom clamp in and click into the motor. Now we're going to install the 2 5/16 or 1/4 bit screws that holds the clamp into the motor pressure support. So here comes the drain pump. You have to line the shaft up correctly with the hole of the drain pump. That way it'll slide on easily and evenly. So like here, see, it's not going on. I'll try to turn the pump a little bit to see if it will go into the pump, but it can only go in one way. So I'll use a flathead or needle nose to turn the shaft the way I can try to line it up with the pump itself. So you can see there it's not aligned perfectly with the shaft of the motor. So I'll turn it a little more, try to even it where it goes into the pump. I'll twist and see it slides in, and then it'll go into the 4 little holes of the motor. Then I'll put my clamps in, press in, turn to the right, and clamp the pump down. Vice versa, do the same thing to the bottom. Okay, so the harness will be connected to the transmission. Just clip it in, and this motor harness you'll press in evenly, not sideways, until it clicks into the motor itself. Okay, great. So now we're going to put the tub over the transmission. The hub support will be in there, so we'll just leave it. If not, just put it on top of the transmission and align it with the 2 grooves on the right and left. I'll try to find a picture later to give you a better view. So slide it over, and you have the hub on top, and turn it clockwise and just wiggle it till it goes all the way down. You have 2 little grooves that goes into the transmission to the hub, and then this tub support will just turn clockwise. Hand tighten it first, and then you can put your spinner wrench on there to hand tighten it, and then you'll just use your hammer or sledgehammer, whatever you have, to tighten it up the rest of the way. So here I took some screenshots to show you where it's not connected here. You can't see it aligned in here. You can see the 2 where it clicks in. It has one on the left and one on the right where it has to be aligned. So here's the 2 clips. You'll put the plastic one on there first. Has a little line that clips into the support, and then you'll put this one on top. And then now we'll slide this cover on. It just clips right into place. You can clean this one also once you have it off. I cleaned this later, but not in this video, but I did clean it. So just clip everything back in one by one. Now we're going to install the agitator. Just slide it right over the shaft, and then wiggle until it presses all the way down. I went ahead and put my bolt in there, so then I'll use my 3/8, I believe it is, to tighten it up. Then I'll put my little cover on the inside, make sure it's flush. This keeps the water from getting into the bolt itself. It'll keep it from rusting out. Has a little gasket that protects the water from getting inside. And then you'll put this top. So now we're going to remove put the shield back on the washer, so it slides up under the housing of the machine. So I use my hand and I push my foot to slide up under. Then I'll lift up the top cover, and then see my foot's there. I keep it from moving forward, and then I lift up the machine, slide the back of the washer forward, and it'll clip right into place. On the side here, you got to make sure that it's clipped in on both sides of the housing, the lower housing of the washer. It has 2 little clips, one on the right and one on the left, that connects. And then you'll press these in, and just press straight down with your hand. I use my palm, but you'll have a clip on the back, clip it up, and then press straight down with your palm. Okay, so now the cover, I'll just pull it forward, and I have 3 clips that I have to put the back one in first. You can see here the back one first, and then just press straight down on both sides and press it back, and then you'll put your 2 Phillips screws in. You can use a flathead or a drill. Just if it doesn't go in easy, that means you're not aligned, so just don't press it in there hard. If it doesn't go, it means you're just not aligned. Here's some bonus footage. Before I put the machine back together, I ran and tested. I recommend you doing this. You can actually connect the door switch and run the machine for the spin if you want to test it without the cover on. So I'm just going to fill it up, and then I'm going to show you exactly how the clutch and transmission works with the cover off also. So once it fills up with water, then it will start agitating. I believe I have it on a medium setting. So there you can see everything's agitating. I cleaned the outer tub, so the only bit of dirt I would say is in this tub is the drum itself. It's just stuff that won't come off. As you can see, it washes the clothes real well. Let me see if I can get up under here to show you exactly what's going on. And another reason I think these machines are the best, you can just see the power of the machine. It really washes the clothes well. I don't see no new machine with no agitator doing a job like this. So let's put it into spin mode, and I'll show you how the clutch works with the dry basket. So let's drain the water out. And another thing, like I was stating earlier, if your clutch is bad, it will not spin that fast. Especially when you put a little weight in there, the inner clutch will just slip. So, like I said, common problem when your clothes are still damp after a spin cycle is your clutch. If it doesn't spin at all, it's going to probably be the motor coupling. As you can see here, the clutch is hitting the drive basket. That's why they call it a drive basket, because it drives the basket, and that's what presses the tub to spin faster, which is connected to the transmission. So yeah, this is why I prefer the older machines, and this is why they do last longer than the new machines. So if you can get one of these machines, I recommend just refurbishing it and keeping it. So I hope this video was helpful. I know it's kind of an older model and they're kind of outdated, but they're definitely the best. And yeah, please like and subscribe if you like this video and like to see more of my videos. Thank you.